What are some of the things that you need to overcome as a person that God has given idea and you're actually starting out very, very small? Now, there are two sides of it. The first side is the fear side, and the other side is the legitimate barriers. See, regardless of the problem that God has called you to solve, because God is the one that called you, does not mean that you will not face challenges. In fact, your challenges will be very, very plenty. Now, how do you separate fear from legitimate barriers? Fear, on the other side, is fear of failure and insignificance. This thing, there are other people that are already doing it now. But why should I even do it in the first place? Remember, you have done all the research and everything, right? No, sometimes when you do research, there is this fear that comes that they've already done it. Why am I doing it? You can look at it as yours. You can look at your own approach as insignificant. You don't have to look at your own approach as insignificant. See it as you contributing to what is already existing. The problems in this world are not going to finish. And that is why God is always raising people that will solve the problem. You see, for every problem that you see existing today, there are people God has sent already to solve the problem. The reason why you are still seeing that problem is that all the people that God have um directed to solve that problem, not everybody is up and running yet. Not everybody. So imagine that the problem of medication is not being solved. Imagine that we only have one medication for malaria medicine. Just imagine how the world is going to be like. Just think about it. So everybody's contribution is significant, no matter how small. I remember there was a time where there's this particular medication that was just so rampant for malaria, which is a I don't want to mention the name. The way the medicine used to smell is four in one. Like there's four for morning, four for afternoon, four for evening. That is where the medicine is arranged, and you're supposed to take it for 3 days. See that medicine, the way it so smell, days after you have finished taking it, your palm is still smelling that smell. And people began to complain. That medicine is still on sale as I speak, but other type came up, which means there's one that looks like jelly and it's just one. Once you take it, you are not going to perceive anything. You see, as insignificant as smell, some people don't care about the smell, but some other people care about the smell. You see that smell, as insignificant as it is, you can just use the soap and wash your hand and it's off. But as insignificant as it is, that problem was solved. The next one is fear of trying, fear of people seeing you trying. As far as you are starting from scratch, there's always going to be an ugly side of trying, and you must be willing for people to see you. Fear is not of God. So don't have this fear of how will people see me starting out now? Me looking at how corporately I used to dress. Imagine starting say I'm cooking from my kitchen. I don't know as though I'm living in a very nice place. No, no, you are not supposed to be thinking like that. Perfectionism, waiting for the perfect condition. As far as this world is concerned, there is no perfect time, perfect condition. There's no perfect condition, because the days where you're trying to do something, and then for example, if you live in a place where there's no electricity or there's bad network, I'm re-recording this video is a re-recording because the first recording I did, because there was poor network, I couldn't upload it properly and I lost it and I have to re-record again. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this to tell you that if I had given up and said, Hector, there's no network, the current location where I am, there's no strong bandwidth, no strong network. If you want to do anything heavy, you have to wake up at 12 a.m. And sometimes even at midnight, you still have to wake up till 2 a.m. before your internet connection is going to be considered strong for any strong upload to be done. See, if I'm waiting for the perfect condition, that perfect condition is next 2 years. So I should wait till next 2 years when people have advanced and left me behind. Of course not. So there is no perfect condition for that idea that God has given you. You either start now or you forget about it. The next one is comparison with others that are further ahead. Don't compare yourself with anybody. You have done your research not to compare yourself with other people, but to have hope that if these people can do it, as daunting as I'm looking at it, if they can do it, it means I can do it. Change that fear into something that will motivate you and give you hope to try. The next one is someday. The illusion of future readiness. This mostly happen to young women. They will say that let me finish school. When I finish school, when I get married, and when I have a job, I'll be able to carry I will start this business that I want to do. I need money to do this, I need money to do that, blah blah blah. They get married, they have children. Now their children is getting married. They have not done that thing. They have not done it. I thought someday. Some have died and gone to their grave, and that someday never came. So don't wait for any someday anything. If you don't start now, there's a likelihood that you will not start it. And guess what? God will give that idea to somebody else. Yes, you have done your research, you have done everything, but you are at the execution stage and you are saying someday. God is going to give that thing to somebody else. And you are going to be like that person that was given one talent and he went and dug his own and hid it. God is going to ask you for it. We all will give account of how we are solving problem. The thing that God has given us, we will give account on that day. What do you want to tell God? I didn't have money. But God will tell you, but you have a phone that you'd have used to record that video. God, I didn't have a good background, but you have a church compound that has a clear painted wall that you can turn that camera that we face, but you refuse to. So remove that illusion of someday and let us look at the legitimate barriers. Like I said, that God has given you an idea does not mean that you will just launch out raw like that. No. There are legal or regulatory requirements. Remember, I told you that this century is not like the 21st, the early centuries. This is 21st century, not the early centuries. This century, government is more involved. In the other century, they work with merchants, there are money lenders, they have, if you borrow money from somebody and you not pay back, they just come and carry your children. It rarely happen now, except in nations where they are still practicing some of those things and the government is not really involved. Now, what are some of those legitimate barriers, legal and regulatory requirements? God has given you an idea. If you know that you want that thing to be solid, you need business registration. You need to register that business. After you have gained clarity on what you are supposed to do, remember the documentation process. You have documented that, okay, this is the pattern, this is what is called, you have done your research. When you are done with research, then what name are you going to give this? You ask the Holy Spirit to give you a name. During the period of your research, a name can come to your mind. You can sleep and get one, but just make sure to have a name, a very unique name, and then you register. Remember the case study that I brought up the other time about skincare. Now, for you to do that skincare part, you might have to get license. You might need to get clinical stuff. Some chemicals they require certain documents. You will need NAFDAC. If you're opening a factory, you will need NAFDAC. You will need if what you are doing has to do with medication, you will need NDLEA. If you're opening a foundation, you're also going to need EFCC's whatever, that your EFCC, there's a clearance certificate or something that EFCC is going to give you if you're in Nigeria. There are all these things are things that you put together that will enable you to have corporate account. Corporate account to enable you to pay tax to the government. All these are legal stuff. Yes, God gave you the idea, but you are on the soil of a nation. You are a citizen of a country on this earth. So there are legal things that bind you, that enables that thing that God has given you to outlive you as a person, to be of impact. It is not good that God gave you an idea about something and they have to arrest you and close down the place. And you're saying, God, you are the one that gave me. God, yes, God did. You saw the need, yes. But the country where you are residing, you are not the owner. After God, after God, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. After God is the president of the nation, is the government. Is the government. After God is the government. God is God is superior to the government, and the government is superior to you as far as earthly things are concerned. The second one is genuine lack for essential resources. There will always be things that you don't have. Now, that is why legal stuff comes first. When you have corporate account, you will be able to apply for grant. There's nobody that wants to give you grant to your personal account. But when you are asked for your tin, your tax identification number, you are asked for your business name, are you registered? See, even if it is business name, register first. Business name most times is cheaper for you to apply for. Start with that one first. It's not as expensive as you can even try to raise money for it, raise money for it. Now the next one is real commitment that needs honouring. You need to be committed. You cannot be here today, here tomorrow, here today, here tomorrow. Today you are doing charcoal business, next month you are doing egg business, next other month again you are doing painting business. People don't even know which one that you are doing. Say, oh, jack of all trade, master of all. You cannot master all, because if you want to do something that is going to be of impact, you need to be consistent, because that is the way you can get help as you need help. For example, there was this guy who he just attended a program, and it's more like question and answer, but he needed help on something. I think the amount of money he needed was 2 million naira. And then while he was asking, they're not asking, do you have this your academy that you are saying, have you started? They say yes. He showed there is pictures, he has documentation of what he has done. But I think there's a particular license. I think there's a particular international license that he need, and that is the amount of money. And the person that organized the event said everybody that is present for that event, both physically and online, should send that young man 1,000 naira each. And I'm so sure that he got more than the money that he was requesting, because I know more than 2 million people came for that event. I'm so sure more than 2,000 people were present for that event. And so he was able to get the help. Even people that came back later online to see that a clip of that video, they were willing to help that young man. Now, if you don't have track record, there's no way you can even have track record if you are not committed, if you are not consistent. For example, you are selling food from your kitchen in the house, and the time comes and then there's a need for a bulk buy for food. Somebody is having an event, but even if it is very very urgent and they come to you and they say we want to do this, because you know that at the moment you are just selling to feed it's just one or two persons, but because you are consistent and they tell you 3,500 naira per plate of food, how much will it cost? By the time you are done making that food for 200 people and you look at the profit you make, if you are jumping from one business to another, you will not be able to make that profit that you made because of that consistency. So if you are not consistent, there is no way you'll be able to get help as expected. The next one is basic knowledge gap. Research first. See, God has given you the idea. He has left you with doing the research. God will not do research for you. God in heaven will not do research for you. The idea, even if you are already in the industry and God is opening your eyes to something, you still need to put in the work. God will not do the work of a human being. You will put in the work. That is why there are people ahead of you who are already in the industry 100 years before you were born. Their books are available. The seminars are available. Some of these companies that are already in the market, they already have free courses that you can look at. They are not going to tell you their secret, but you will have an idea. The Holy Spirit needs something to breathe on. So you are not going to stay at, yes, the Holy Spirit said that I'm a problem solver. The Holy Spirit told me that I'm going to turn nations to Him. The Holy Spirit said you are going to turn nations to Him. How many biographies of people that have turned nations to God have you read about? You need to go and do your research and find out. Some of them live longer, up to 90 to 100 years. What is their secret of long life apart from praying to God? For example, say God has called me to be an intercessor. Okay, what this person, there are intercessors before me. What about John Hyde? He prayed to the point that his heart shifted from the main position to the other position. It was when he died they got to find out. Now the question is, what was his secret? You need to go and find out. Oh, God has called me to open a restaurant. That as people are coming into my restaurant, that they are going to be healed. Okay, who are believers that own a restaurant, that significant things happen in their restaurant? See, they are going to be very rare, but you're definitely going to find them. Oh, God has called me into agriculture and he has told me that in this agriculture, this is what he will do with me. You need to go and find, okay, who are the people that from just one agricultural product, they're able to produce things that solve human problem. You're going to look you're going to look for somebody like I think his name is Crowder. He from one product of granite, I forgot his name is not Crowder. I know that his name. From granite, he produced 300 products. 300 products from granite. From granite. Because of his interaction with God. Yes, God gave him that. He already had interest in plants already, but he didn't just stop at the interest. He did something significant today. He is no longer alive today, but that thing is still there. All the things about granite that he does, that he invented, that God gave him wisdom to do, they are still existing to today, and they are still solving problems to today. Is the man alive? No. But are we remembering him? Yes. So you need knowledge to research. You need to research. See, the only way you can stand out is by research. If you say God has given you that idea, then you must be willing to commit to do that research. The next thing that can be a legitimate barrier is your health or family situation that requires care. As human beings in this world, health challenges are things that are kind of, it's more like we are not immune to it. So it's something that will always definitely happen. But however, don't use your business money to treat a family member. Do not. You can try to source for help somewhere else, but do not do that, because if you do that, it will be difficult for you to rise, especially when you know how you started, knowing that you do not have any backup. I made this mistake one time where I gave out money for business to somebody. Truly, this person was in need of help. This person was arrested and other people have been bailed out. They were just few that was remaining. So you have to call somebody that you know that will going to give you money to add to what they already have. And so I sent money to this particular guy, and then he was released. And then he had to leave the country where he was to another country. All right, so pay me my money now. It was long to the point that there were measures I had to use to collect that money back. Meanwhile, the business had already crashed where I was still trying to get the money. So now you don't want to make that same mistake. Also, do not borrow money to start up a business. Like I say, you can start from scratch. But some of these barriers are avoidable. I know that there are people that always say, "Eh, he's my bestie, she's my best." In business, there's no bestie, especially when you know how you got the money. After you have suffered for 3 years trying to build a business, and then you get a grant of 5 million naira or $5,000, and then that friend of yours want to throw a wedding party, destination wedding, and remove yourself from that WhatsApp group. You don't know where the others have gotten money to attend that wedding, but you know how you fasted and prayed. Your need for finance in that business is legitimate, and God helped you. You got a grant. Avoid destination wedding. Avoid all dis vacation. You want to go on vacation of business that you started 3 years, 5 years, avoid it. God will give you long life enough when that business is yielding profit enough that if you take from me to travel somewhere, it's not going to tell on the business. If you look at your business, if you look at that thing that God has given you, and you know that there are certain spendings, if I spend it, the work of God will scatter. Avoid them. God is seeing those little commit, and he knows how he's going to pay you back. So family situations, they are legitimate, but you need the wisdom of God to be able to navigate this point. You must not lose that capital that you are having, that God has shown you mercy to receive. You must not. Your family members might not be aware that you have that money, but please do not for any reason touch that money. There are other people in the family that can help out. You don't have to be the person that will actually drop the money. So these are reasons that might want to kind of deter us, but we can actually overcome them if we choose to. If you choose to be an overcomer, you are going to be. But if you choose to sympathize, you will actually see the consequence of trying to sympathize. Because I mean, if you don't actually have the grants, the sick person will actually be treated. If you don't actually have the money, the destination wedding will still take place without you in the wedding. So why having to sacrifice the grant money that you were giving or the profits from your business? Why do you have to sacrifice it for it?